Hello there, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to talk about stress. We've got physical stress, emotional stress, mental and psychological stress, and these can vary for where you're at in your life. So you could be going through a time when you're having a lot of emotional stress, or maybe at work a lot of mental stress, or if there's been difficulties or things that are really hard for you to deal with right now, you might have psychological stress. Now the stress you have can be from now, but I want you to understand that the stress you have can also be from your past and you still held on to it. And I want to talk about that today because we tend to store things, and one of the things we're very good at storing is stress. So if we can't deal with it, it's too stressful, we just put it somewhere. And the reason I'm doing these podcasts is because people don't realise that they're putting it in places and then they're leaving it there not knowing it's there. You can put stress in your chakras. So that's the first place you might want to think about it. Stick stress there. If we're having trouble in a certain area where the chakra is, I would say go and have a think about whether there's a lot of stress there. We can also stress in the layers that are going out from the aura. And then one of the most important places that we can put stress for us as human beings, walking around in this big physical body, that we can put stress in the actual organs. Now, when I went checking around and looking at all different people, it was really interesting to notice that anyone who was having heart problems, high blood pressure, things like that, they had stress in the actual heart. And people who were having trouble with their stomach had stress in the stomach or with their throat. People who were getting a lot of headaches, I think, have stress in their muscles as well. And sometimes even in the brain, stress in your brain. I want you to start looking at yourself and thinking where you're having trouble physically, and then that'll help you ascertain whether those particular organs will be having stress in them. And then do your modalities like we've talked about so many times before to try and let go of the stress. You can visualize if you think you've got stress in your heart, visualize your heart, do a little meditation, release all the stress from it, do your healing work, things that you do, your affirmations, letting it go. You can also take some herbs to counter the stress. Go and Google the ones that are good for stress, and probably one will pop out for you. I think it's really good to support the physical body, particularly with physical things. If you can take some teas or some tablets or things like St. John's wort, unless you're on antidepressants, of course, and there's contraindications for that one, so you must read it. And every time you take a herb, please read what you shouldn't take it with, because herbs are quite powerful and they can interact if you're on medication. So you make sure you double check everything, and you can even do that at the pharmacy or the chemist. The way you identify the stress is probably how you're feeling, or like you've got runaway thoughts, you could be having trouble sleeping, you're not very focused, and maybe that's mental stress. And then you can do the work at letting it go. We'll also hold stress in the mind. So we have like the mind, body and the soul and the aura, of course, but in the mind. So don't forget to let go of stress from the mind and use your tapping or your self-hypnosis or your meditation, all the things that work for you to let go of that stress. I think once you realise you've got stress there, it's actually the greatest discovery, because you're like, oh, I'm holding in my throat, I'm having in my stomach or in my bowel, wherever that is, or in my back. People hold a lot of stress in their back and in their shoulders. And once you can recognise that, then you can do work at letting it go. If it's a physical thing, like a muscular thing, I would suggest you buy yourself a little massage machine and use that like every few days, or when you feel like you need it. It will bring the stress down by just using the machine on you for a while. If you have enough money, you can go and get regular massage. That's great too. It's probably even better than the machine, but not all of us have got that ability to go to massage once a week, financially or even time-wise. So use your little machine. You can also use oils on your body to de-stress it, the lavender and different ones. You can Google all those to take the stress out of the muscles, because the muscles get stressed. You have stress in your muscles, and then you land up with migraines and headaches and backaches and cramps and spasms. All these are signs of that part of you being very, very stressed. I tend to walk around once I've worked out where it is and just keep saying the affirmation, I'm letting go of the stress, wherever it is that I've found. I let go of it and let go of it. I check with kinesiology how much stress I've got, and I check after I've done the work and how much is still left. And I'll just keep an eye on it, because usually you'll find that it'll come back, and probably in the same organs. We tend to put it where we put it, and that's where we'll find it again more and more. When you do this work, because you're trying to de-stress yourself, you have to change your mind. So you might need to say to yourself, I'm feeling calmer, I'm letting go of the stress, I'm releasing all the stressful feelings, I'm feeling at peace, I'm feeling in my sanctuary. And that's where meditation or any self-healing will help you. And I've taught you some of the self-healing things you could use, and I feel you should do some of those on yourself. Put your arms out to the side of your body. You can sit up or lie down, palms facing towards your body, but off your body maybe. And then when you've done that, when you've let go of that stress, you just lie there and you let it go, and you ask your body to release it. Your body follows your mind and your thoughts, so what you tell it to do, it will most probably do. The body's very good at this. So you tell it to let go of the stress, and let go of the stress here, there. And you can go through every chakra, you can go through every organ. I've done that. Or anywhere you feel like it's tight, you just see it letting go. I don't think people realise how destructive stress is. A little bit is okay, but when we get more and more and more, and as we get older, we collect it more, I feel that it's often a precursor to getting quite sick, and it affects the organs and the lymph system, immune system, and lowers it. And therefore, it's really, really good for you to keep an eye on how much stress you've got. You can also ask with your pendulum, if you use your pendulum, and you can actually ask how much stress you have before and then after when you've done work. You'll start to feel better too, because remember, we're like not just we are an aura, but we're a body in there, like a physical body, and that will get stressed by certain things. Also look at your diet, because if you're eating like foods that are going to stress your body, say you have a problem with gluten or lactase, therefore you might just find that it's important for you that you don't have as many of those foods and substitute. If you have an allergy or intolerance, try not to have it as much, because it will stress your actual body, because your body doesn't like it. That's what it's telling you. And you can always test for foods by doing the kinesiology. I put it under my tongue, and then I test with my hand before I put it, and then once I put it in there. Quite often it's a big indicator to me that my body doesn't like this. It's a really good way to use it. So go on Google kinesiology, and there's some self-treatments and also some self-knowledge things that you can use with kinesiology that quickly show you what's happening around your body. If you've got a friend who does it too, you can get them to arm test you. But I'm on my own now, so I have to learn how to do it for myself, and I do it just with the thumb and the finger, and then I do it with my right hand, holding it up and pressing with a couple of fingers on my left hand and asking. We want to be well, we want to be fit, we want to feel great, and when we're stressed, we don't. We usually have our little indicators as well. People get more migraines. If they're migraine people, they'll get more stomach ache. If they're stomach people, the back will hurt. If they're back people, we have a tendency to have an overload area, and that's where you need to keep an eye on that. If it's getting worse, it's your overload area. Once your body has less stress in it, you'll also feel less stress, like you'll feel the difference. It'll feel more calm, how you feel when you're floating in a pool or something. It's that kind of feeling, and that's a good feeling to have on a daily level. Life is going to bring up lots of stresses for us, that's the truth. It's just how we handle them. And because you're listening to these podcasts, you're quite a sensitive person, and you have a very sensitive aura. Therefore, you're going to feel it. If someone feels at 3, you're going to feel it like 10. Therefore, you need to really get your stress down. And because you're probably an empath as well, you're going to feel other people's anxiety, stress and nerves. So keep an eye on that as well, because that's going to actually affect you if you're around very stressful people. So good luck with the stress this week. I hope you can lessen it and acknowledge it. And if you can find it in some of those places in your body, in the chakras of the aura layers and or in the organs or the muscles. So I'm wishing you lots of love and lots of light.